So Barbara, tell us a little bit about what brought you here. Why do you do what you do?
Well, it's a long story and I'll keep it short. But essentially, I was in the entertainment business for 30 years. And I was a director and have my master's in directing from UCLA. And I had an acting academy and I coached celebrity performers for a number of years in film and TV. And then I lost my husband suddenly 2 months before our 25th wedding anniversary.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Yes, it was a devastating time. And right after him, I lost 4 more people from my family and friends, and all in a 2-year period. So essentially, I shut everything down, closed my school, closed my practice, and it was a quest for what's next. What do I make of this in my life? But the true gift that I received, I believe, is that I didn't really know how to love myself. And it's like I lost the love of my life to find out I didn't know how to love myself, because he represented my value, really. And so it was a journey to discover how to create from the inside out versus seeking constant approval on the outside. And even as a director, I was trained to be very, very critical and trained to be very analytical and just dissect people. But what I was doing was also dissecting myself. And I thought I had been a very, very positive person my whole life until I discovered my innermost dialogue when I was depressed and lost and grieving. And I couldn't believe, once I became very aware of what my innermost dialogue was, I couldn't believe how much self-loathing and self-betrayal and self-judgment. And, as I said to you earlier, I'm a recovering perfectionist. My perfectionism was crippling me. Just at that time, all I desired was to join my loved ones on the other side. So
it's a great way to put it.
Yes. Yeah. There was no longer the conversation or the life that I had. So it was a complete capsizing of the ship. So I went on a journey, and through that journey, I went to a master's program in spiritual psychology. And this was all to heal myself, to understand. It was a search for meaning. And
a master's program, is that like a traditional school or a non-traditional when you say master's?
It's a master's program in a non-traditional school, but there was a master's program it was called the University of Santa Monica in Los Angeles.
Great.
Fantastic program. And then I started to realize that, my really core issue was, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, low self-worth. And yet, I had a lot of education, a lot of experience directing others. I had a lot of experience helping other people be successful, but I wasn't doing it for me. I didn't know how to do it for me. So it really became, I teach what I know now because I didn't know how. And I just kept gathering information. So from there, I studied quantum physics. I certified as a life coach. I studied neuroscience. And then I certified with Bob Proctor as a thinking into results.
Bob. I've got the opportunity to see him several times at CEO Space. He's awesome.
He's amazing. And, doing his program, I was really trying to bridge, how do I go from now healing parts of myself to making this more of a business? And Bob was a perfect mentor for me to bridge business, spirituality, and goal achievement. And when I did the program for myself, I doubled my practice and tripled my income. So, it was really working with the principles of this program. And since I've been facilitating and coaching people through this program for the last 4 years, people have outstanding quantum results. It's not 1%, 2%, 5% increase. Significantly greater into leap that people take. And so what I found was that, I'm really working with people who are a reflection of who I was. and it's people who are highly educated, powerful thinkers, amazing creatives, and full intention to help others, but yet they're under earners and they're underachieving because they're stuck in a knowing doing gap, and they're frustrated, anxious.
I think it's that self-worth.
It's all that self-worth. Absolutely. It's I really show people how to shift from perfectionism and procrastination and, the inner dialogue, the self-image, how to improve the self-image in order to step into greatness. People have a calling. I was waking up every morning going, there's more, there's more, there's more. I have greatness inside of me, but I'm not getting to it. I can't, it felt to me like this alien inside my belly that was growing and coming up and knocking me on the head and saying, wake up. It was just, trying to get my attention. There's greatness inside. You're not listening. You're not listening. And why are you not listening? And it really, really came down to the low self-worth, self-value piece. And I keep growing it in myself, and I keep helping others to grow it in themselves so that they can have confidence and step into their greatness and, and grow their worth financially, professionally, personally, and so that they can have a new paradigm for success. Adam, I can't hear you. Adam, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. No, can't hear you. Can't hear you. Okay. Yes, I can see it. Can you hear me?
Nothing?
Now I hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
It's funny. Nothing moved, but it just went out. So sorry about that, everyone that's watching and listening. We're back. And let's see. I remember where I was. So I was saying it's interesting because I've gone to a lot of courses and seminars and tons of stuff. And last year, my father got sick. He had dementia and a heart attack, and my mom's already mentally unstable, ill, and I had to deal with my crap. Like I had to deal with my mother and father issues. I'm not saying they're all gone, but they were like, here they are.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I don't want to deal with that right now. Tough. There they are. They're gonna die if you don't help them. So we did a documentary about it even because I took them to Egypt and then they ended up coming back because they wanted to retire there. But what you were talking about, like changing your paradigm and breaking free of that self-talk because it's so present. It's like, well, that's how it is. Well, it's not how it is. You don't really get it until you get it, I think. Mm-hmm. Right? Have you seen that with your clients?
Oh, absolutely. And in a short amount of time, that once people start working with their paradigms, and here's the beauty of the program. We start out with what's called a worthy ideal. So it's to go after a C-type goal, we call them A-type, B-type, and C-type goals. If you're going after a goal that you already know how to do, you're heading in the wrong direction. So And if you go after a goal that you kind of think you know how to figure it out, you're still going in the wrong direction. You're going to lose interest very quickly.
Oh, I see.
But if you go after something that you are really excited about, but scared, out of your pants at the same time, that's going in the right direction because you don't know how to do it. And as soon as you go after something you don't know how to do, but you've always been wanting to do, it's like, say it's a dream that's deep inside that just keeps on knocking, and then finally you decide you're going to do it. Then what happens is all the programming, all your paradigms, all your excuses, justifications, rationalizations are all going to go ping, 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 ping. They're all going to be, like you said, in your face. Yeah. And that's when you get to have consciousness. That's when you get to be aware of what is the programming that's presenting itself. What are the paradigms, which are, paradigms are just a multitude of fixed ideas in your subconscious mind that create habits. And most of our behavior is habitual. So we're constantly throughout the day on autopilot. And when we're in autopilot, the brain is just taking the path to least resistance, going into its programming, going back to its neural pathways that it already knows, staying in the comfort zone. But you really, the first step to creating this C-type goal is making a decision that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then, absolutely. When you make the decision, you've got to make sure it's a committed decision. And then you need, and what I do is with groups and with private clients, it's accountability. I have tried, Adam, I can't tell you, to figure out why people don't change when they say they want to change. And then they do really, really well when they're working with me. And then 2 months later, when they're not working with me, they call me back and say, let's do it again. I need the accountability. Yeah. So I discovered that accountability is like the number one piece of the puzzle. Yep. To have someone hold you accountable, because if you're left to your own device, your paradigms, I like see my paradigms as these characters with that like long pointy black nails that are calling and say, come back to what you know, stay and know, but I tell people you'll never know who you really are until you discover the parts of yourself that you don't already know. You see? And so when these paradigms come up, the program's designed in such a way that you get to speak to them, you get to confront them, and you get to choose. You don't have to therapize. You don't have to go back and work out your childhood problems. You just start to notice the pattern of behavior and start changing the habits. Yep. And when you start changing the habits, you're going to have a new result. When you see a new result, you're going to feel more confident about your success. And success can be taught, but confidence has to be learned. So when you step into a small step, most people are out there in the big picture. So they're caught in overwhelm. And as soon as they're in overwhelm, they're going crazy, going, I'll never do it, I'll never do it, I'll never do it. And then their paradigm, their programming, the place of what they already know, their comfort zone, just keeps pulling them back. And in this program, the idea is to know where you are and where you're going. You don't know the how. And as you keep taking a step and a step and a step, then this goal, this dream starts to come to you. And so the synchronicities, the energies, these frequencies start to match up, and you start to become aligned as you commit to the next step in front of you and the next step in front of you. Most people are in overwhelm, and the conscious mind needs to focus and choose. That's the primary function of the conscious mind. Focus and choose, focus and choose. And when you're in overwhelm, you're all over the place. You're not focusing. You have no order. You have no organization, and you're not even going to take your first step.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that's so much great information. And I was just sharing that with my client today. It's like, great, that's what happened. Let's go. Because her issue is action. Let's take action on it. Yes, I get that. Yes, that's great. And you've done the work on that. That's why you're with me, so we can take action and go forward. Let's just do that.
That's right.
And what I've learned is through that, like they were talking about doing peyote, or something, right? And I was saying, I don't think you really need to do that. All you have to do is discover yourself and go there and do the things that push you. And through that, you'll have discovery. You don't need the quick find this out. And if it even takes you in the right direction anyway, right?
Yes.
So that's great information. So what's your book about? It's True Love, True Self, A Journey of Self-Love, right?
Yeah. It's really about my journey, through the loss of my husband and family members and friends, and then how I use tools out of the toolbox in order to get past the self-betrayal, the self-loathing, the inner critic, and to move, cognitively forward into cognitive behavior. I saw that to change my thinking, to become, a positive thinker, I really had to just really grow aware of the voices. So I designed a little exercise for myself, and I thought, this is interesting. This is, teaching me something about positive psychology. And what I did was I committed to making I was doing pottery at the time, and I committed to making two little pots. One was an enter pot and one was a delete pot. And in the enter pot, I put a pile of salt. And in the delete pot, I put some water. And every time I had a negative thought, I ran to the pot with the salt and I just dropped it in the water and said, delete. And in the beginning, I was running up to the kitchen counter a lot because it was just one negative thought after another, after another, after another. And I was like, no, I'm committing that I am done with being miserable. I am done with choosing victimhood. I am done. I remember the day that it was, sometime after my father passed. And I had lived with the curtains in my living room closed for over a year. And I opened up the curtains and I said, I'm done with being miserable. And then I just decided, well, what are the things that I can do that are going to affirm my truth, affirm that I'm educated, affirm that I'm kind, affirm that I'm giving, affirm that I'm successful, affirm that I have all the intelligence, wisdom, experience in the world in order to, become successful for myself and get out of the way. So that it's more than, I think that therapy has its place. And I think that talk therapy has its place. I went through it myself. And, but as far as getting into action and getting in, it's about letting go of the story. So my book is kind of like going through the story and then get past the story.
Can you show us your book again? We were talking about this earlier, and it helps when people see it. There we go. Great. And you have another book you wrote too, right? Or is that the same one?
No, I have an ebook that's out there, and it's called Unlocking Your Genius Code. And I'm working with a cardiologist in Spain on brain entrainment. So how to get into the deeper layers of the subconscious mind using brain entrainment, alpha, delta, theta waves, and, to help imprint and embed the messages that you want to get to your deeper core level, because that's where, again, a lot of people are stuck.
Yep. It'd be great if we taught some of this in school, don't you think? Imagine how, like, we're having this conversation because that's what's needed, but imagine what we would be teaching if that was already taught. Where would we be now? Right?
Exactly.
There's we should all know this. Just the theta waves, just that.
Just exactly. And that's why, I think that there's more popularity with meditation now, and going into corporations and companies, and people are taking it a lot more seriously because they understand the value at a deeper level. Consciousness is growing and increasing.
Yes, and, for sure.
A lot of my clients have kids and they use this material with their kids. And, I'm working with an 18-year-old right now who is going to be a father very soon. And he's just so excited that he gets to apply these concepts and principles with his newborn.
Oh, that's great.
Right? So, but basically, I really want people to understand that once you start to see the paradigms the opportunity to change the paradigm is to create a plan, and do your best to stay focused and organized and keep the fire alive. However you can do that, through the people that you're engaging with, the mastermind groups that you're with, the mentors that you have. It's like, if you see the fire going out, you need to get that fire stoked again. Or here's a good example of a C-type goal for you. I've been working with a 72-year-old client who wanted to lose weight. But, we know how to lose weight.
Yep.
And pretty soon, like everybody else, it goes to the gym, 3 weeks later, or it's February, and, that gym membership is still there, but you're not.
That's a good way to do it. It's the membership, or you're paying for it, but you're not. And they count on that.
That's right.
Based on that.
That's right. And so what she did, the C-type goal that we aligned her with, because she always had the desire to do it. She's 72, and she's inspired by Ernestine Holmes, who's in her 80s and is a bodybuilder. So she signed up for a bodybuilding competition.
Nice.
Now, when you're, and you want to get into a bikini by the time you go to that competition, she's at the gym at 5 o'clock every morning. Seriously, she's kicking behind.
So where do you feel like she's getting her energy? Is it her mind? Is she taking a special cocktail?
That's a great question. It's in her mind. It's also her commitment, and she knows she's accountable. She knows that when she shows up with the group call, she knows that and she's serious about when she's saying, she's also writing a book. And she says every time that she comes to the call, I did a lot of writing this week because I knew I had to by the time I came to this call.
Yeah, it's great, right? Like having a show, it's like, I don't feel like doing a show today. Too bad. You have people coming over, you have a show scheduled, whatever. I didn't have that feeling today, but there are days I'm like, oh, I don't want to do a show today. I'm all panicked because I'm in overwhelm, and then I'm like, I get over it. I'm like, oh, look, I'm doing what I do. For me, it's like when I catch myself in some kind of reaction I don't want to be doing, when I catch myself, I go, oh, that's so cute. I'm doing that. Well, let's just get over it. Let's just move on or do whatever I'm supposed to be doing.
That's great. It's the law of polarity. In every single cell of our body, we have a negative pole and a positive pole. And so at any given instant, you can focus on the negative or you can focus on the positive, right? For every in, there's out. For every up, there's down. For every coin, there's two sides, right? So what happens when you're not invited to a party? You want to be invited, right?
Well, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, thank you. But sometimes I'm like, why didn't they invite me?
Exactly. And then you get invited, right? And then you go into, yay! Then it's the night of the party. What do you want to do?
Go home.
You want to stay home, right? And then you go, get going. Come on. Put on some clothes, slap some shaving cream on your face and go. And then you go to the party and you usually have a good time. But we're always in push-pull. Do I get out of bed? Don't I get out of bed? It's always push-pull, and it's always your choice. It's a conversation I have all the time with my old self and my new self. The part that wants to succeed and the part that wants to stay in the comfort zone. It's like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. It's just this, where are you going to focus?
Yeah, good point. So tell us, you were mentioning something about you had an offer you wanted to offer people when I asked you what you wanted to promote or talk about.
I just wanted to share that people can go to my website, which is Barbara Daoust -TIR for thinkingintoresults.com.
And we'll put that, after the show's done, we'll put that on the description so people can link it or click on it, or if they don't know how to spell your name, but it's right there on the screen.
Great, thank you. And they can sign up for a discovery session. I have online group masterminds. I do private sessions through this program. And, so it's just really about inspiring people into their greatness, to get out of their way, let go of procrastination, perfectionism. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Let it go. Perfect doesn't get done. It just doesn't get done. And I've seen in a short amount of time how when people make a committed decision, they can go from, $1,500 a month to $10,000 a month to $20,000, and to in 3 months' time buy the home of their dream. To it's really about getting in alignment with knowing it's yours to have, and that takes confidence, it takes belief, and it takes commitment, determination, discipline, and accountability.
Yep, that's a lot of stuff. How do you keep track of all that?
Yeah, you have to live it.
Yep.
You have to be it. You have to start becoming now who you want to be. So, and that's part of the self-image. It's the, acting as if concept. And so it's to be now who you're wanting to be, and then the subconscious mind will start, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real or imaginary. It only knows now. It doesn't know the past. It doesn't know the future. And subconscious mind is going to hold you in the familiar because it's terrified of the unknown. Terrified. And the only way, to kind of get it, encourage it, is to practice, 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 and start implanting ideas into your subconscious that are positive, that are, compassionate, kind, loving, and self-serving. And eventually the bad wolf is going to die for lack of nourishment. And then eventually you start to walk your talk. You start to be it instead of just teaching it to others. Big difference.
Yeah, it sure is, for sure. For sure. You mentioned something earlier, if you could tell us right before we wrap up, recovering perfectionist. I shared with you earlier what that meant to me. What does that mean to you?
Well, like, for example, when the sound went out, right?
Yeah.
In the past, I probably would have had a panic attack.
Me too. Oh, I look so bad. What's wrong with me? And nothing happened. Who knows what happened?
Right?
The internet crashed. I don't know what happened, but it just happened.
Yeah. And, I was trained to be really finely tuned to detail. And I'm highly perceptive. So, at one time, all those details used to cripple me. Stop me. It wasn't enough. I'm not enough. It's not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I need the next course, the next program, the next. And I call that getting ready to get ready.
Yeah.
But we're never ready, and perfect never gets done.
Yeah.
And so now I understand that on such a deep core level that things like sound or I just did a session this morning with a group of clients, a group of lawyers, and my meeting just disappeared. I used to at one time be like, not anymore. It's it's so more relaxed, more spontaneous, more present,
Like, oh, look what happened. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll do this now, or work around this, or go straight through, or whatever the situation allows. Yeah. Exactly.
And I do things deliberately for myself that, kind of noogle that perfectionist, where I'll make sure that something isn't perfect, and so whether or not it's a stud is missing on my handbag. At one time I would be right at the shoemaker getting that stud in the bag. Now I leave it empty so that I'm reminded it's okay. It's okay.
That's interesting. Well, I'd love to talk to you some more, Barbara. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Maybe you'll be on the show again. I've got Clay Neves. Is that right, Clay? How do you pronounce it?
That's music to my ears.
All right. So, yes, I said it right. I actually read the profile. You can say hi to Clay, Barbara, if you'd like.
Hello, Barbara.
There we go.
Hi, Clay. Nice to meet you.
Like that. You can see his shoulder. Let's see.
I can see him. Yep. Great to see you.
How are you?
Happy New Year to you, too. Thank you.
From CEO Space, too.
Oh, well, to our CEO Spacious Success.
Right, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. And so I hope that, we have an opportunity to work together again, Adam, and that there's people out there who are inspired to take action and to go after their greatness. And I support everybody in their journey to seeking the truth. It's become my mission that people are living in their truth, because I know I almost, joined people on the other side, as I said.
Yep, I get it. I like that. the way you say that. That's a beautiful way to say it. But here you are. Thank you for being here, and we'll catch you later. We're going to start the next segment of our show, which will be the next segment with Clay Neves. Right now, we'll be shutting this down, and then we'll be live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. What else is there? I guess that's it. See you guys later.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Have a great day.
Thank you.